From Maggie and Negan's making up the most unlikely team, to the possible and much-awaited return of Rick Grimes, here's everything you need to know about the upcoming Walking Dead spin-off, Dead City. After an astounding 12-year run, the AMC Zombie series finally reached its finale in November 2022. Let's look at where we left off in the original series. And, oh yeah, spoiler alert if you haven't watched it yet. The original series always had a tradition of epic finales for every season, and it was nothing less than the finale of finales. The show went out with surprising turns, heartbreaks, and bloodshed, as it said farewell to Alex Gambati's Jules, Dan Fogler's Luke, and Christian Serratos' Rosita, and set up a possible future for some fan-favorite characters like Michonne, Rick, and Norman Reedus Daryl Dixon. We've had a prequel spin-off series, Fear the Walking Dead, that first premiered in August 2015, detailing the early days of the zombie apocalypse. And with that almost at its end as well, fans are already excited for the next one, which is expected to be bigger and much better. You don't have to wait much longer though, because the latest in the series of TWD spin-offs, and probably the most anticipated one, is just around the corner. The teaser for Dead City, which was released back in March this year, set the stage for Jeffrey Dean Morgan's infamous Negan and Lauren Cohan's Maggie Reed's latest adventures all the way in Manhattan. And fans went wild. Many even speculated that Negan is going to be in the spotlight for the whole show, and honestly, it wouldn't be a surprise if that turned out to be true. There are a lot of expectations and speculations for the upcoming series. Here's what you can expect for the upcoming series. The new series not only brings back some old fan favorites, but also introduces a cast of new villains. And I have some speculations of my own as to who they might be, as seen in the new trailer, which gave us a much better idea of what to expect. Well, Negan and Maggie teaming up isn't the only twist. In the trailer, Maggie opens up to her old enemy Negan about the raid on her and the kidnapping of her son, Logan Kim Herschel, and somehow Negan is the key to his release. Intriguing, right? This brings us to our first villain, the Croat. The Croat is an underling of Negan's from back in the day, according to Morgan. Does that mean that this Croat man is from Negan's vast organization of survivors, the Saviors? Remember Season 6? Or perhaps someone who had dealings with the Saviors? Needless to say, Negan made many enemies in many communities after forming the Saviors. But the question is, did his influence extend all the way to Manhattan? It's fair to speculate that the Croat and his crew are quite well known on the island, since the people helping Maggie and Negan are aware of him and his tactics. So, here's the scoop. If the Croat and his crew actually raided Maggie, does that mean she's moved on from Hilltop? Because in the finale of the original series, Mag wanted to have a chat with Carol and Daryl about exploring outside their communities. So it's possible that during their scouting, they ran into the Croat man. Along with whatever Mr. Croat has in store for us, here's what I think Season 1 of the new spin-offs might bring us. Without a doubt, Season 1 will be full of action, excitement, and twists. And obviously, Maggie and Negan. But of course, there's more. Along with the more villainous Mr. Croat, we also notice a gentleman who appears to be looking for Negan Smith. Could he be a bounty hunter, perhaps? Well, his name is Pearlie Armstrong, and he's actually a marshal for a new community called New Babylon. Let's look a little bit deeper into this Pearlie guy and why he's looking for Negan. He's a family man, devoted to building a safe world for his wife and daughter. He's also described as being confident, ruthless, and unyielding in the pursuit of what he believes is justice. So, he's in charge of maintaining law and order in New Babylon. And maybe the only way he can guarantee everyone's safety is by hunting Negan. Well, Gaius Charles, the TV veteran who plays Pearlie, he let the fans in on a little secret about his character at the WonderCon panel in March.
And one of the biggest challenges is getting this guy named Negan. Now, I don't know if any of you remember somewhere around Season 7, I think it was. Remember a character named Glenn, by any chance? Anybody remember out there?
The thing is, for Marshall, New Babylon is like one of the states that is trying to put the world back together. And he's not going to let anything or anyone get in his way. Now here's when things get interesting. In order to get to Negan, he's going to have to deal with Maggie because if you recall, Maggie and Negan are on the same team here. It'd be fair to say that New Babylon is where Maggie's son, Herschel, is being kept. And Maggie needs Negan, who the Marshal is searching for, to get him back. It's like they're forced to work together. It makes more sense now, doesn't it? Apart from all these talents and twists, We'll also be looking at a very different view of a post-apocalyptic world than we've seen in the other series. Picture, I Am Legend and The Last of Us, but worse. Fans also believe that the first season will focus on the few characters rather than the many, as we're accustomed to seeing in the original series. Nothing, of course, can be said for certain. We can only speculate, and this behind-the-scenes clip only made sure that the speculations go on. Just when everyone thought Maggie and Negan had sorted their differences out, this clip comes out, in which Negan simply goes for Maggie. This has been raising all kinds of speculation. Some say that AMC is simply beating a dead horse. Some are trying to guess who'll be the next to die. Others can't get their heads around the point of the show, which is getting Maggie to work with her husband's murderer. And if they are supposed to be working together, then why are they trying to kill each other? Fans still aren't over Negan killing Glenn, Maggie's husband. It happened all the way back in Season 7 of the original series, and it'll probably be one of the coldest moments of the show. None of us will forget how Negan came out of that truck and the way he was whistling, holding his baseball bat wrapped in barbed war. Lucille, as he called it. And all of our beloved characters were taken hostage and forced to kneel before him. Rick Grimes, the strong father, and leader as we'd always seen him, even though he was helpless at that moment, I had chills all over. If that wasn't enough, Negan, assuming the role of judge, jury, and executioner, announced that he plans to kill one of them as punishment for their past actions. And wow, the way he did it, it was as cold as it gets. He played a twisted game of eeny, meeny, miny, moe to choose the soon-to-be victim of Lucille, as he pointed it at each person while delivering his menacing lines. While they were all on their knees, we were all kept on our toes, playing a game of our own, guessing who was going to be the one to die. And it ended up being our beloved Glenn.
Maybe I deserve to die for what I did to your dad, to your family. But these people here, they don't.
So honestly, I get it when people say they can't just let all that go. But then again, yeah, the spin-off doesn't have a simple plot line. But I think that's what makes it more interesting. We'll be getting to see Maggie work with this unforgivable man, trying to find it in herself to forgive him for the sake of her son. They're really going deep with these characters, and I love that. And besides, that's not all to be excited about because, of course, what is The Walking Dead without walkers? And it's almost as if the showrunners finally listened to their fans and will be introducing more walkers. And maybe even more variants. And there may not be any talk of our beloved Rick Grimes being part of Dead City, but it's confirmed that he and Michonne will be getting a spin-off of their own. So, from the possible and much-awaited return of Rick Grimes to Maggie and Negan's making up the most unlikely team, this has been everything about the new spin-off in the TWD universe.